Let's get something straight. What I'm about to share with you isn't just effective, it's explosive. This isn't some worn-out line or cheap gimmick. It's not about sharp suits, flashy money, or memorized routines to impress her. This is psychological warfare that taps into a woman's hidden emotional circuitry, the same system that fuels her deepest urges, shapes her choices, and colors her dreams. And once you grasp how it functions, there's no going back. You become unforgettable. Now let me ask you something. Why do some men linger in a woman's mind, even when they're gone? And others? They vanish the second the room empties. It's not looks. It's not money. It's not charm. It's something deeper, something almost invisible. A presence she feels when you're not even speaking. A shift in her body when your name pops up on her screen. Some men chase. They overextend. They try too hard. And she pulls away, slowly, silently, without saying a word. But the man she can't shake? He doesn't perform. He doesn't plead. He doesn't pursue. He lives in a way that quietly pulls her in. Not by force but by gravity. This isn't manipulation. It's not some dating hack. It's psychology. It's biology. It's the art of presence. And in this video I'll show you 7 specific triggers that unlock that pull. The ones that make her not just attracted, but attached. But be warned, avoid using this the wrong way because it won't just attract her, it'll consume her. She'll chase you, crave you, obsess over you. So ask yourself, are you ready for that kind of power? If not, stop watching now. Still here? Good. Let's begin. Number 1. The spark of potential commitment. Before anything deep can form, she needs to feel a door could open. Not a promise, not pressure. Just a quiet maybe, a spark of potential. It's not the guy who says, "I'll give you the world." It's the man who makes the world feel worth entering. She doesn't attach because you swear loyalty. She attaches because she can picture herself beside you. In your space. In your rhythm. Most men mess this up. They either rush in trying to lock it down, or stay distant hoping mystery will do the work. But connection doesn't grow from pressure, or from silence. It grows in that emotional tension where curiosity lives. Instead of performing or plotting a future too soon, you move with intention. You show her how you lead your life, how you carry yourself, make decisions, treat others. And then something subtle shifts. She stops evaluating you. She starts asking, do I belong in this man's world? That's where attraction deepens. You're no longer chasing her. She's wondering how to belong to you. But here's the part most guys never figure out. And when she asks, what are we? You don't panic. You don't pretend. You stay centered. You say, I'm here. I'm enjoying this. Let's see where it goes. That grounded energy? It's magnetic. Not clingy. Not detached. Just real. She doesn't feel pressured. She feels safe. And in that stillness, she doesn't just want you. She wants to be worthy of you. That's not a move. That's presence. And that's when the pull becomes permanent. Number 2. Mastering the power of silence. Now this is where things start to get intense and unfiltered. You see, most men panic in silence. They rush to fill it with noise, jokes, reassurance, because stillness feels risky. But a grounded man sees silence for what it really is. Presence. A space where connection breathes. In that quiet, she doesn't just listen, she feels. She leans in not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't. Modern dating is loud. Too many words, too much performance. That's why silence cuts through, it stands out. It holds weight. Picture this. She shares something real. Most guys jump to fix it. You don't. You hold eye contact. You pause. You let the moment land. In that stillness, she doesn't feel ignored, she feels seen. Not with solutions, but with presence. And when you're not texting constantly, not chasing replies, not out of strategy but because you're focused on your path, it sends a quiet message. You're not needy. You're rooted. And suddenly she's wondering, what's he thinking? Is he thinking of me? That's the pull. That's the power of restraint. Stoic men don't fill air just to be heard. They speak when it matters. They move with intention. And in your silence, she reveals herself. Here's a truth most men avoid. She fills the quiet with her own meaning, her hopes, her fears, her curiosity. But silence is a tool, not a wall. Use it with precision. Too much and it feels like distance. So pause, don't vanish. Let her words settle before yours arrive. Let the silence amplify your presence. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Number 3, turn your attention into impact. Let's take it a step further. A lot of men think love is constant contact. Texting nonstop, stacking dates, checking in at every silence. But attraction doesn't live in overload. It lives in contrast. If your attention is always available, it blends into the background. Predictable. Easy to ignore. But when it's rare, intentional, and fully present, it becomes unforgettable. Think of your attention like heat. Always on, it fades. But when it sparks only in key moments, focused, clear, undivided, she feels it. You're not just with her. You see her. You make her feel real, seen, alive. And then you step away. Not to play games, but because you have a life, a mission, a center that doesn't orbit her. That space you leave, it's what she replays. The way you looked at her. The way you made her feel. The absence becomes part of the experience. Now here's where it gets risky. Because once you learn this, you become unforgettable. You see, you weren't trying to impress. You gave her something rare. Because real attention isn't constant. It's sacred. It's deliberate. It doesn't shout. It lands. So ask yourself, are you giving her noise? Or are you giving her presence? A Stoic man doesn't pour out energy to be liked. He gives with precision. He chooses when and why. And that's what makes your presence addictive. Not because it chases, but because it elevates. That's not a trick. That's masculine discipline. That's how power feels. Number 4, give her a story worth staying in. Attraction is the spark, but it's meaning that keeps the fire burning. If you want her to feel deeply connected, you need more than chemistry. You need context. Because women don't just fall for a man. They fall for the meaning behind him. It's never just about the laughs, the gifts, the nights out. It's what those moments represent. When she looks back, what story will she tell herself? Was it just a moment? Or was it a chapter in something that felt real? You're both laughing and you say, I haven't laughed like this in years. That's not small talk. That's laying bricks, building a shared narrative. Later you recall that night at the cafe. The walk. The joke. The pause. Suddenly it's not just memories. It's her place in your story. But here's the key. You're not scripting it to impress. You're living it. You're intentional. Present. You remember details because they mattered. Not because you're trying to sell something. She'll feel the difference. She always does. So don't just say she's beautiful. Say, there's something grounded and wild about the way you see the world. It's rare. That's real. That's layered. And then live it. Show up. Be consistent. Make every moment a thread that tells her, this isn't fleeting. Because when she starts to believe she's part of something meaningful, she won't want to let go. Drop a comment below, I live with presence. Because the men who do, write the kind of stories she never wants to leave. Number 5, let her lean in. Most men think winning her over means giving more. More time. More effort. More everything. But here's the quieter truth. If you want her to value you, she needs a reason to invest. Not with big dramatic acts, but with the little things. Because when a woman offers even something small, her heart starts to follow it. This isn't a trick. It's how we're wired. When someone gives, they start to believe. This matters. This is mine. You're on a third date. Instead of taking care of everything, you say, grab that wine you told me about. Now she's part of it. She mentioned a playlist. You ask her to send it. Now she's not just observing. She's sharing her world. That's not delegation. That's inclusion. That's intimacy. Where most men slip. They either ask for too much too soon, or do everything thinking independence is strength. But real strength is knowing when to make space. Space for her to offer, to contribute, to care. Every little yes she gives builds connection. She's not just along for the ride. She's co-creating something. And when she's involved, she's invested. Not because she was told to care, but because she chose to. That's how real attachment forms. Not in grand moments, but in tiny threads woven over time. A simple thank you. A quiet acknowledgement. That's what sticks. Because what she wants isn't to be adored from a distance. She wants to feel needed, seen, included. And once she plants roots in your life, she won't want to leave. Drop a comment. I'm building something worth choosing. Because when she helps build it, she'll fight to keep it. Number 6. Always making her feel special. Once a woman starts feeling connected, what deepens the bond isn't more effort. It's deeper attention. Not surface-level praise. Not recycled compliments. But the kind of noticing that makes her feel one of one. Most men say what's easy. You're beautiful. You're amazing. Nice words. But empty echoes. Because she's heard them all before. From men who never really looked. But when you pick up on what's personal, how her eyes light up when she talks about art, how she tucks her hair behind her ear when she's nervous, or how her voice lowers when she speaks about someone she loves. That's different. Now you're not flattering. You're mirroring. You're showing her she's been seen. She says she's into classical music. Later you mention listening to Debussy and how it felt like quiet longing. She doesn't just feel appreciated. She feels understood. That's the difference. You're not performing. You're connecting. And it's not about grand gestures. It's about precision. A favorite dessert remembered. A quiet detail brought back at just the right time. No fanfare. Just presence. And suddenly she thinks he actually listens. That thought builds everything. Trust, warmth, depth. Here's the Stoic layer. A grounded man listens with no goal. Not to impress, not to win. He listens to understand. Fully. Quietly. Without trying to be clever. And in that stillness, she stops performing. She simply is. That's when connection stops being a moment and becomes a bond. Number 7. Push her mind, gently. If you really want to stand out, don't just make her feel wanted, make her think. Most men fall into one of two traps. They either agree with everything hoping to keep the peace, or they push too hard trying to prove they're right. Both miss the point, because neither approach respects her mind or yours. A grounded man? He doesn't challenge to win. He challenges to deepen. Not to clash but to create spark. She says, travel teaches you more than anything else. You pause, smile and say, what about someone who never leaves but still grows? Do you think that's possible? Not a debate. Not a trap. Just curiosity. Just presence. And suddenly she's not just emotionally interested. She's engaged. She's alive in the moment with you. Because women don't just crave warmth. They crave stimulation. Playful tension. A mental dance. You tease her a little. You talk a big game about your taste. Why don't you plan our next date and prove it? Now she's not sitting back. She's leaning in. She's part of it. Creating. Responding. That's where connection lives. In movement. In challenge. In rhythm. You're not trying to please. You're not trying to dominate. You're walking the edge, where attraction breathes. Here's the Stoic truth. You stay rooted in who you are, but you stay open to who she is. Not to feed your ego, but to grow something real. When you lead like that, you don't just spark emotion. You spark feminine energy. You wake her up. Drop a comment. I elevate those around me. Because when she feels that balance, You won't need to chase her attention. She'll feel it, and she won't forget it. Now that we've explored all 7 emotional triggers, it's time to connect the dots and end this with clarity. What you've learned isn't a collection of tactics. It's a foundation built on presence, strength, and intention. These principles don't just attract women, they anchor them. Quietly, deeply, authentically. Most men miss this. These aren't tricks. They're reflections of who you become when you stop chasing approval and start leading with purpose. Let's recap. Offer the possibility of commitment, steady, not rushed, and you create intrigue. Make your attention intentional, not constant, and you become unforgettable. Embrace silence and you rise above the noise. Let her invest in small ways and she'll root herself in your world. Craft a meaningful story together, not just moments. See what others don't and she'll feel truly known. Challenge her mind gently, and you'll earn both her respect and her obsession. This isn't about control. It's about being rooted, present, clear. Because at the heart of what women desire isn't a man who performs, it's a man who lives fully. And that's who you're becoming. Not through games, but through discipline, self-awareness, and quiet power. Here's your next move. Choose one of these 7 shifts, just one. Practice it this week. Let her feel the difference. Let you feel the shift. Then come back. Drop a comment. Share what changed. What clicked. If this brought you value, hit like. Subscribe for more content on leading your life and relationships with calm, clarity, and quiet strength. Remember, high-value men don't chase validation. They set the tone. And women? They don't just follow. They attach. Until next time, stay grounded, stay intentional, and stay loyal to your worth.